Alright, it's Henry again, and this is part 2 of my review of the Master Grade Nu Gundam Ver Ka. And here is what the inner frame looks like, completely painted. I decided I'd show it off one more time after I got done painting it, just because I really like the way it turned out. I airbrushed on, I think, 4 different shades of gray. Most of it is kind of the medium gray, like you see here on the side skirts. And then I used a dark gray in a few places, like here on the chest there. A brownish gray, which I was a little conservative with, just here. A little bit on the shoulder armor there, not much of that brownish gray. And then gunmetal in just a few places, like in the elbow joint here. And down inside the little collar area right there. Head Vulcans I did in gunmetal as well. And then, of course, I painted the yellow thrusters and the face and all that stuff. And then I went in and did a lot of hand brushing, just painting all these little small details by hand with tan. I used a lot of this tan. I really like that color. And then just silver, gunmetal. Did a lot of detailing with black. And then panel lined the whole thing and then flat coated it, and this is what it ends up looking like. I didn't do any painting to the clear psycho frame parts at all. All I did was just put the foil stickers on the undersides of them, which works really, really nicely. I mean, you can see they're really, really reflective with those silver stickers up under them, and I really like the way Bandai pulled that off. So that's enough looking at the inner frame. Let's take a look at this guy with all of the armor attached. Alright, so this is what the Nu Gundam ends up looking like, all painted up. I went with pretty much the standard colors. The only real difference is I added this tan color in a few places on the knee, thigh, lower torso there. Just to change things up a little bit, give it that third shade of color on the white armor, kind of like the real grade RX-78-2 had. The black and yellow and red I did pretty much just standard. Did my usual pre-shading. I made the pre-shading a little bit more noticeable on Nu Gundam. Sometimes I do pre-shading a little bit too subtle, you can barely tell it's there at all, so I made sure to make it a little bit more noticeable on Nu Gundam here. So, now let's go ahead and get into the weapons. Now, the first weapon Nu Gundam comes with is, of course, the beam rifle. And it's going to be molded in white on the bottom, black on the top, and it's actually relatively simple as far as construction goes. Very nice detail on it, though. Lots of panel lines, lots of small details there for you. Nice decals on it. No real moving parts except for the peg. All of the weapons that come with this kit have these little pegs. You'll need something to push it through, and a little peg will flip out like so. And also on the hand there is a peg that you can flip out. As you can see, you got the peg is on the bottom, a hole on the top on the hand, and it's the opposite on the weapons, hole on the bottom, peg on the top. So it's actually a double peg connection that'll interlock and makes for a very, very solid connection once you get it in there. And I am pleased to say that Nu Gundam Ver Ka will never ever drop any of its weapons ever. The peg connection is extraordinarily solid on this kit, so you will not have to worry about dropped weapons at any time for this guy. And also, while not really a weapon, of course you get a shield. It's a big solid white piece of plastic on the front, although the panel lines and the decals really break up that solid white look, so it still looks nice and detailed. And on the bottom you're going to have a black piece of plastic here. All of this gray here I painted myself. And then you're going to have the gray part and the red little missiles there at the bottom. For the connection, it's connected via a ball joint, so it can rotate and wiggle around. And then it's also got a hinge that'll go back and forth as well, which is actually really helpful. You'll see that in a second. It only connects to the left arm. It cannot connect to the right arm. You've got two little slots down here that this clip is going to clip onto. And you'll hear it click into place. And I mentioned the little hinge being helpful because a lot of times people don't like having the arm turned to one side when the shield connects to the back of the arm. Or if they've got the arm like this, they always complain about the shield being at the back. So this little swivel thingy helps. It doesn't bring the shield all the way around to the side of the arm, but it does bring it a good ways around to the side. So I thought that was a really nice feature of the shield. And the next weapon is, of course, the Hyper Bazooka, or Nu Hyper Bazooka, I believe it's called. It's actually pretty nice, a bit more complex than the original one that came on the 1.0 kit. All of these parts are molded in the correct colors, so you don't have to worry about painting this thing black, which I know was always a pain in the butt on the older Nu Gundam kits. Little missiles are molded in red. And it actually has a telescoping feature where the barrel can go in and out for storage. The handle goes forward and back, and like the rest of the weapons, you've got a little peg that flips out on the handle that'll fit into the hand. Now you're going to have to bend the elbow a bit, and the swinging handle definitely comes in handy as well, because it can be a little bit awkward to get them to hold the bazooka. But if you get it in there, you should be able to hold it. And honestly, you probably don't even have to use the peg, because 99% of the time you're more than likely going to have it up over his shoulder anyway, or if not, tucked up under his arm. So I don't think the peg is really all that important, but it is there just in case you need it. And of course, one of the features of the bazooka has always been that it can be stored on the backpack. Turn Nu Gundam around, and down in there you'll see a little hole, basically, and you'll collapse the bazooka down like so. It'll go down, got this little clip right here, and it'll just go down in there and connect to, if I can find it in there, there we go. It'll just connect in there like so, and it gets stored right between the two halves of the backpack. Now, some people I hear complain about the telescoping barrel dropping down when it's stored like this, and that did happen a little bit. It didn't drop all the way down, but it did drop a centimeter or two before I painted the kit. But since painting it, I haven't had any problems with the barrel dropping down at all. And of course, what Gundam would be complete without beam sabers? Nu Gundam has two of them. Now usually the beam sabers are symmetrical, located on the backpack, but this time we've only got one on the backpack. The custom beam saber actually has one moving part. A little guard there flips out. And you've got two blades for it, a long curved blade, which will go on the top, and then you've got a small little blade that will go on the bottom there. Really, really nice beam saber, really unique beam saber. And just like on the beam rifle, the beam sabers have these little pegs that will flip out on the side there, and they'll just fit in snugly into the hand. Although honestly, the beam sabers are so small and light that I don't think you'll even really need the peg for the hand all that much at all. Now the second beam saber is located here on the forearm in this little contraption. You're just going to slide this open, and then you'll more than likely need something to pry this guy out with. It'll flip out like so. Pull it out, it's a little peg there it sits on. And then it's got a normal straight pink blade. It'll go in there. And like the other one, oops, it's also got a peg that'll be able to fit into the hand as well. And of course we have Nu Gundam's signature weapon, the fin funnels. You get 6 of them. And as you can see, they're relatively simple. Very, very similar to the ones that came on the original Master Grade Nu Gundam version 1.0. The only real difference is the connection points that you're going to use to connect all 6 of them together. And they simply have 2 double joints in there, so that it'll be able to go out like so and then close back up. Got some nice detail on the underside, as well as some nice detail on the outside as well. Just tiny little details. A lot of panel lining on this kit. And each funnel is going to have these 4 gray parts that come out of the sides right here. And it's just a simple little piece that's got all these little ridges on it, and it can go back and forth. And you'll push it in like so to kind of hide it away. And for most of them, you'll be doing that. And then you'll take this one and move it up instead of down, and it will lock into place, and it will leave these little connectors exposed. And that way, you can just connect them together. They've got little parts in here that the connectors will connect to, and all you have to do is put them together like so, and there you go. Now, the main complaint most people have had with this kit is the connection for the funnels, which admittedly before I painted the kit was rather loose. They didn't fall off spontaneously, but if you messed around with the kit too much while they were connected together, a couple of them may fall off. But I found that since painting the kit, the connection is quite a bit tighter. Just those few layers of paint really, I think, help tighten up those connections, and I haven't had any problems with the funnels falling off at all since I painted the kit. And each funnel has these holes in here with a little bar going through the center of it, and those will be for connecting to the backpack. And each funnel is identical, by the way. All 6 of them are exactly the same, so it doesn't really matter which one goes where as far as their position. And then it'll just connect to this little thingy right here on the backpack. Put it on like so, and it'll just kind of, you'll hear it click into place. And there you go. Woo. Be careful, Nu Gundam does become quite a bit back heavy when you put those funnels on. Anybody that's built a Nu Gundam kit probably already knows that, but if you haven't, just warning you now. The back heavy issue isn't too bad. You can just lean him forward a little bit and it'll ease that up. And, you know, just lean him forward a little bit. Not even too much, but just get him firmly planted on his feet and he should be able to stand up just fine. And of course, the last accessory that Nu Gundam comes with is the display base. So you can see it's a big black Amuro symbol, and it doesn't say it on here, but there was a little piece that connected like right here that you had to cut off. This is actually the exact same display base that came with Master Grade High Nu Gundam. You can even see the little sections right here where the panels would flip out for the funnel rod attachments that High Nu Gundam had. But this clear part at the top is new. This is for Nu Gundam Ver Ka. And then you have these little jointed arms for the funnels. And these, I think, are going to work out much nicer than the clear rods that were on High Nu Gundam. They are made of ABS plastic. They have a swivel joint at the base, at the midpoint, and a ball joint at the very end where the funnel will go. And very solid joints. They're actually ratcheted joints, so very nice solid connections, and I think they're going to do a really good job. So let's see how it looks all put together. And once you get all the funnels attached to the display base, the effect is actually really nice in my opinion. Much better than the wobbly clear rods that came with Master Grade High Nu Gundam. You can move this guy around all you want. Very stable. Those funnels are not going to droop or fall anywhere. All of the joints on these little arms are ratcheted joints, so they're not going to be moving around. They're not going to sag over time. They will stay in place and stay rock solid. So really, really nice execution on this display base. And Nu Gundam as well is also rock solid. If I can actually, I don't even know if I'll be able to show it to you. The display base connects into the back of Nu Gundam's torso and into the backpack, so it actually connects in two places. So like I said, very, very solid connection and a very nice display base. Now for what's probably the most unique feature of this kit is the transformation. Now, Nu Gundam originally did not transform, and it never has up until December of 2012 when this kit was released. Basically, the transformation, they explained, was just kind of a new take on the an interpretation of the final scene in Char's counterattack where Nu Gundam pushes back the Axis asteroid and all of the psycho frame energy resonating out of the Nu Gundam. This is meant of a way to more visually represent that psycho frame energy. This kit doesn't have psycho frame throughout the entire inner frame. It's just in a few places, so it's not exactly like the Unicorn Gundam. But it shows more of, I think, how the Unicorn was derived from the Nu Gundam as far as the psycho frame technology goes. And that, I think, is a really, really cool feature of this particular kit. So anyway, we will start off at the torso. It's actually kind of hard to get to. You've got a little panel right there that you're going to need to lift up. And you will absolutely need something to get up under there. In fact, that screwdriver's not going to work. I think I'm going to need a hobby knife. You'll just need to lift that panel up, and that panel serves as kind of a lock. Once you get it open, you will simply pull the torso up, and you'll see it expand and expose some psycho frame here on the lower torso. Then all you need to do is push that panel back in place, and it'll lock again, and it'll be up and stable. Next, we're going to take these little panels here on the chest, and they will simply, slide forward, if I can get them to slide forward. There we go, like so. It's a little bit easier to do it from the side, exposing even more psycho frame on the chest. Then we move on to the arms. The shoulder armor will simply slide out like so. More psycho frame. Do that on both sides. Then the forearms, actually no, the biceps are next. You're going to pull on the bicep and you'll hear it click and open up, exposing more psycho frame there. It's actually quite tight, so you'll want to pull pretty firmly in order to get that to come out. Then on the forearm, it's actually like three moving parts right here. This black part, this white part, and then there's another white part right there. The best way to do it is just grab onto the center white part and just pull up. And I find that's the best way to get it open. Even then, it's kind of tough. But if you just pull on it, it'll eventually come open. I accidentally pulled this thing off, exposing psycho frame on the forearm there. And of course, we'll repeat that on this side. Of course, I think painting the kit has made this particular part of the transformation a little bit more difficult on mine. It wasn't nearly that hard to do before I painted it. Next up, we have to remove these panels on the front skirts. And the easiest way to do that will be just to get something up under there and pull, and voila. Do that on both sides very carefully, and there we go. No psycho frame on the front skirts, but those panels do need to be removed. Now onto the legs. The legs have a lot of transformation on them. First off, these little side parts right above the knee joint, we're going to be removing those. So we'll just pry those off on each side. I think I'm just going to transform one leg and do the other one off camera. Then you've got a panel on the back of the leg that you'll flip up like so, and then that's going to allow you to open up the leg. As you can see, that armor splits apart. You'll push that panel back into place to lock it, and you have some nice exposed psycho frame there. Now for the lower leg, this is where it gets kind of fun. Let's see, there's a panel right here. First, however, this white panel on the back of the leg needs to be removed. Instructions say the best way to do that is to open up these little thrusters first. Hidden thruster there. Another one right there that'll lift up. And apparently that'll make it a bit easier to pull this white panel off. Like I said, it's still not really easy. So we removed that panel. Then there's this black panel right here that you see will go up and down. And we move it up and pull on the lower leg, and the whole thing will come apart. So you can see exposing some psycho frame here. We'll push that black panel back into place all the way in, and it'll lock the leg in place. Then this gray panel on the knee armor, we'll pull that out. Or at least try to pull it out anyway. There we go. It doesn't come out very far. It only comes out about so much. But you can still see a little bit of psycho frame in there. And finally, the last bit of the transformation is on the foot. This little white panel right here will slide back, exposing even more psycho frame on the foot there. And one last bit for the transformation is on the backpack. These panels right here are going to come off like so. There we go. And then these parts will come up slightly, so a white part bends down a bit. This one as well, and the thrusters will come out like so. And there you have it. That is the complete transformation for Nu Gundam Ver Ka. Kinda a little bit reminiscent of the Unicorn Gundam, but still unique enough that I think it's really, really cool. Some people don't like it because it wasn't actually in the movie, but then again, this certainly isn't the first time that a model kit's been able to do something that wasn't shown on screen. So overall, I think it's a really neat feature. I'm glad they included it. I like that it brings Nu Gundam a little bit closer to Unicorn Gundam in terms of design. And overall, yeah. And for a couple of comparisons, here is the Nu Gundam Ver Ka next to the Master Grade Nu Gundam version 1.0. As you can see, we got quite a few proportion changes, a lot more detail and panel lines on the Ver Ka, and yeah, a lot to complete inner frame. The 1.0 has almost a full inner frame with the exception of the head, but just pretty much everything is done better on the Ver Ka, hands down. The Nu Gundam 1.0 just does not hold up very well. In fact, in my opinion, the only place that the 1.0 beats the Ver Ka is the fact that it's got these little mesh pipes on the back of the knee joints, whereas the Nu Gundam Ver Ka, that was just molded in plastic. And just for kicks, here's a comparison to the old school 80s 1:100 scale Nu Gundam. This isn't a master grade or a high grade. It was made before high grades even came out. This is just the old 1:100 scale Nu Gundam kit that I got just for the sake of having it. So there are all three of your 1:100 scale Nu Gundams side by side. So that about does it for this review, and I can't even list all the things that I like about this kit. This is just such a well done kit that Bandai has just really raised the bar on their master grade line by releasing this kit. It's not a perfect kit. It does have a few problems, but it's damn near perfect. Has a little bit of an issue with the funnel staying together, but like I said, after I painted the kit, that issue disappeared. There was another issue with the telescoping bazooka barrel, also not staying place. Again, painting solved that issue. The hands can be a little bit fragile, but if you're careful with them, you won't have any problems, so that's nothing really to worry about. And the transformation can be a little bit finicky at times, but certainly not the most frustrating transformation ever. Even Unicorn Gundam's transformation, which I don't even think is all that bad, is a little bit more difficult than Nu Gundam's here. So the list of problems is very, very short, and the problems are even kind of insignificant. Overall, just everything was done really well. The perfect grade style posable hands worked out great. They look fantastic. They're nice and articulate. The double peg system for the hands to connect to the weapons is genius. I wish Bandai had thought of it a long time ago because it works really, really well. The funnels are nice, with the exception of the looseness issue which I mentioned. Other than that, they actually work really well. They work really, really nicely with the display base. The display base was really well done, a big step up from the one that came with the High Nu Gundam. The little articulated rods that hold the funnels on were a really good idea and really well executed, I thought. The look of the kit, I'm usually not crazy about Evolve versions. I feel like we've had kind of too many Nu Gundam Evolve versions out in the market lately, but I like this one by far more than any of the other ones I've seen, just because it's not too Evolve-ish. Some of the Evolve versions just really go crazy, but this one is, it's got the Evolve look, but it's a lot closer to the original Nu Gundam as far as Evolve Nu Gundams go. And I think I really like that because it doesn't stray too far from the original design. And having all the multiple shades of white and gray on the outer armor, I think, is a really, really nice touch. Again, bringing that kind of real grade look to the kit. And plus, just tons of little details and panel lines all over the outer armor as well. So if you like detailing and panel lining, this kit will definitely keep you satisfied there. The multiple, just lots of armor parts, lots and lots of armor parts made painting the kit really easy. I hardly had to do any masking at all on this kit. The only serious masking I did was the underside of the shield, and I went ahead and masked the light black parts, I guess you would call them, even though Bandai gives us stickers for those. And the decals are fantastic. I really like the decals. I always enjoy Kotoki's decals. Some people think they're too much. Me being a decal junkie, on the other hand, I always enjoy them. It doesn't have quite as many decals as Unicorn Gundam, but I think it's definitely got more than Gundam Ver Ka or Wing Gundam. I don't know, it's about the same amount of decals as Wing Gundam Ver Ka, probably. But again, I could go on for another hour talking about how many good points there are to this kit, but that's why I made the review. So I won't bother going over any more here. So overall, great kit, fantastic build, absolutely the kit of the year for 2012, and who knows, we may even end up getting a Sazabi Ver Ka in 2013. So that about does it for this review, and with that, I'll see you guys next time.